says Élysée officials had been unable to provide a photograph of Brigitte as a child.
I mean, that's weird because you have your other family baby pictures. So it's like, if you're saying that's your brother, you got your brother in those pictures. So how come we was able to find his baby pictures, but we can't find your baby pictures? So allegedly, the first lady is a man. Allegedly. Okay? Allegedly. Let's get to some more details. Alright, so shout out to the Daily Mail. They're going to break this down to us, alright? So sit back, relax, and let's get into the nitty-gritty of this.
The cute little girl with a pudding bowl haircut sitting on her mother's knee is Brigitte Trogneux. Her family are renowned chocolatiers and confectioners in the Amiens region of northern France, where the upmarket Trogneux brand is as well known as, say, Thornton's is in Britain. But the family, or rather the youngster in the photograph, has another, much greater, claim to fame today. She grew up to be Brigitte Macron, France's First Lady, wife of President Emmanuel Macron. Trogneux is her maiden name. A black and white family portrait, featuring her parents and siblings, was taken back in the 1950s. Could anyone, least of all Brigitte herself, have imagined that more than half a century on it would be used in a smear campaign by the far-right, who falsely claimed she was born a man? Last year, Brigitte won a libel case against the freelance journalist who made the initial claim, yet it's a vicious and unfounded rumor that has not completely disappeared from parts of social media. Most recently, Brigitte's daughter Tiffaine Auzier, a lawyer, has talked about the impact of the accusations. In an interview earlier this month to mark the publication of a novel she's written, Tiffaine, 40, told Paris Match, "I have concerns about the level of society when I hear what is circulating on social networks about my mother being a man. The confidence with which it is said, and the credibility given to it is proclaimed. How can we resist disinformation on social networks?" Mr. Macron himself, speaking on International Women's Day last week after the publication of the interview, expressed his anger and frustration at the rumors and their effect on their private life. "The worst thing is the false information and fabricated scenarios," he said. "People eventually believe them and disturb you, even in..."
So instead of speaking out on it and just saying that it's false, why not just prove that your wife isn't a man? Allegedly. If they're saying your wife is a man, show a baby picture. If they're saying your wife is a man, show her as a little girl. What is the problem? I'm not going to sit up here and say, I'm not a man. I'm going to be like, stop playing with me. This is me as a girl. Y'all see? Look, that's me. Stop playing. Look at the face. Come on now.
Your intimacy. The claim initially went unnoticed when a small far-right monthly publication called Faits et Documents, Facts and Documents, went to press with the results of a so-called 3-year investigation into Mrs. Macron, now 70, in September 2021. But when correspondent Natasha Ree, who contributes to the journal and has a history of attacking the Macrons on Facebook, gave an interview on YouTube that year, the allegations went viral online. In the interview, she referred to the old Trogneux family photograph. The little girl sitting on her mother's knee, she claimed, was probably Nathalie Farcy, who was orphaned when Brigitte's older sister, Ma Vaughan, was killed in a car crash, along with her husband, Paul Farcy, when Brigitte was very young. And Brigitte, her birth name, she claimed, was Jean-Michel Trogneux, the boy in the checked shirt in the photograph, before he became a transgender woman and underwent a sex change operation in the early 1980s.
Yo, what? This is insane. So basically, this journalist is just exposing the French president wife of allegedly being a man. And the fact that they can't prove the baby pictures is insane.
You couldn't make it up, could you? Almost immediately the story began circulating widely on social media. Websites associated with the far-right, anti-vaxxers, the Yellow Vests, Gilets Jaunes, anti-government movement and QAnon extremists, who believe the US is in the grip of devil-worshipping child abusers, spread the false claims. The attack on Mrs. Macron led to fears of the Trumpization of political debate in France, with fake news being used to potentially sway voters, particularly by the far right in the presidential election of 2022, which Macron went on to win.
Nah, I don't know about that. I don't think there's some cap. I don't know.
The trigger for the pseudo-investigation in Fez et documents, The Mystery of Brigitte Macron, was physique, according to Ms. Ree, who claimed that experts, including cosmetic surgeons, all agree with me that Brigitte Macron is a transsexual. Ludicrous, maybe, but a YouGov survey in 2021 found that a higher proportion of French and American people were likely to believe conspiracy theories, 38 and 33% respectively, than their British counterparts, 19%. The Dirty Tricks campaign against the Macrons illustrates how easily fiction can apparently turn into fact with just a few clicks and a hashtag in today's world. Our own research suggests that the boy in the checked shirt is possibly her late older brother Jean-Claude. He was 8 years older than Brigitte and became manager of the family chocolate factory. Birth certificates in France, unlike the UK, can only be obtained by the person whose name is on the certificate, or a relative of that person. But the arrival of Brigitte Macron in the world was published in the Courrier Picard, daily newspaper of the Picardie region of which Amiens, her home city, is the capital, which records her birth on April 13, 1953. Referring to Brigitte's 3 sisters and 2 brothers, it reads, Anne-Marie, Jean-Claude, Mara Vaughan, Monique and Jean-Michel Trogneau have great joy in announcing the arrival of their little sister, Brigitte. The Fez et Documents magazine says Élysée officials had been unable to provide a photograph of Brigitte as a child.
I mean, that's weird because you have your other family baby pictures. So it's like, you know, if you're saying that's your brother, you got your brother in those pictures. So how come we was able to find his baby pictures, but we can't find your baby pictures?
We found numerous in reputable French publications, including a 7-year-old Brigitte taking her first Holy Communion, not to mention one of her playing in the garden of her home, as well as all in white on her wedding day, with her first late husband, wealthy banker André Louis Auzier. Before she entered the Élysée Palace in 2017, as the wife of the youngest president in French history, she was 64. He was 39. Mrs. Macron, a former teacher, told her pupils, "You'll hear remarks, true and false. I'll never talk about them." Brigitte made an exception in this case, however. Natasha Ree, 48, and Amandine Roy, a 52-year-old clairvoyant, who appeared on the 4-hour YouTube video in December 2021, were found guilty of libel and initially fined the equivalent of £1,700 each, reduced on appeal to £850
Yo, they really sued them? That's crazy.
for Roy and £400 for Ree. Yet, beyond the vicious rumors, the story of Brigitte Macron is fascinating in its own right, and not without scandal. She first met Emmanuel Macron in September 1992. She was 39, a
Yo, that is ridiculous. 39?
married mother of 3 and a teacher at the French Catholic school in Amiens. He was 15 and
Of course it's Catholic. You know how they do in them Catholic churches, man. This is a fact, though. Look it up. Them Catholic churches be filthy, bro. They be touching little kids and all that. Look at this, 39, 15. But then again, that's the legal age, and that's crazy. 15 is crazy.
a pupil in the same class as one of her daughters. Their 24-year age gap still draws gasps, except in France, where the allure of the older woman has long been celebrated. Mrs. Macron, who has been compared to Brigitte Bardot and Catherine Deneuve, regularly graces the cover of Paris Match and other celebrity magazines. So much for being born male. Throughout their 16-year marriage, she has played a key role in his political career, somewhere between a spin doctor and eminence grise, to quote one commentator. But back in Amiens, their developing friendship all those years ago caused outrage locally. Brigitte's family ran the confectionery shop in Place Notre Dame, in the center of the city, now the flagship branch of the Trogneau chain, which has 12 other branches across northern France. Their specialty was macarons, sweet treats made from almonds, honey and egg whites. Her father was a pillar of respectability, a regular churchgoer, and a member of the Rotary, where his father worked as a diplomat.
All right. At this point, I don't know what to believe, man. I mean, I can't believe that. Like, I feel bad for the people over there because it's like you don't want your government lying to you. You know, you don't want your higher ups lying to you. Whatever. You don't want people lying to you. So, it's just messed up. Y'all drop a comment. Tell me what you think.